Hey everyone, and welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Angela here, and today we are going to talk about the latest updates regarding our favorite desperate couple, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. From failed PR stunts to solo travels to fake concert going, there's a lot to digest here, so get comfy, grab yourself a little snack, and before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe for more content each week, check out our Harry and Meghan playlist, follow us on our social media, and without further ado, let's begin. If you guys have been keeping up with my Harry and Meghan content as of recently, you know that things haven't been working out for the disastrous duo. From their fake New York car chase, to their failed Spotify deal, to Dior's embarrassment at even being associated with them, to the growing reports of Harry and Meghan's separate lives. Everything has failed for them. Not only has a hotel manager slipped up and said that they have a room set aside for Harry whenever he comes, which is often, but many insiders are reporting that they lead separate lives with a divorce being on the rise. I've made a video talking about the divorce rumors and what Radar Online said, and how Harry and Meghan were super quick to reply back to refute their claims, so go check it out. But the PR games continue. A united front. This time around, we have Harry and Meghan still keeping up the perfect couple and happy family vibe as they appeared in their garden dressed complimenting each other in neutral tones, calling random kids to congratulate them about the work they've done for digital media. Ah, there it is. Harry and Meghan plastering their names onto some foundation and cause just for a lick of publicity. They apparently surprised US recipients of the First Responsible Technology Youth Power Fund grants with phone calls to congratulate them. First of all, who? Second of all, of course the fund that Harry and Meghan are working with can be traced back to their sob story of them being victims on the internet and being trolled, and apparently having a huge campaign against them being formulated on the dark web as they tried to claim on Netflix. I talked about that in my series exposing their Netflix series, so go check that out if you want to laugh at how dramatic their stories are. And also, isn't it funny that this fund is also the first of its kind? It's almost as if Harry and Meghan have to keep inventing things to put their names on it because no reputable and existing foundations want to work with Archewell. Anyway, this fund that they called was apparently launched by Archewell, as they state on their website. Archewell posted in February 2023 that they helped launch this responsible technology fund. Now here's the thing about Archewell, and as I've said in past videos, I personally believe it's a big money scam. Call it a cult or whatever you want, but it just seems to me like Harry and Meghan keep funneling money into this charity organization, but really they're pocketing everything without doing much work, as was revealed in their tax documents. So whenever they work with an extension of Archewell, it just seems like they are funneling that money and attention back onto them by doing the bare minimum, like picking up a phone call and saying, "Hi, congratulations."
Thank you for doing everything that you do. Our kids especially are incredibly grateful.
They don't know it yet.
They don't know it yet.
But they will. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good
Take
one.
care. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Today drained me.
And their desperation reeks because even reading the article on Archewell's page or watching Harry and Meghan call these kids seems like a dirty PR stunt. I'm sure the kids' effort is great and whatnot, but Harry and Meghan do this thing where they piggyback off someone else's work by doing the bare minimum to slap their names on the project, such as calling these people who were also magically filmed by professional cameras and were so shocked and in awe that the Duke and Duchess of Failure were calling them. The only thing this showed us is that Harry and Meghan's united front is fake and a quick PR scam because they are desperate. Their body language tells it all, as they both appeared awkward. Like, look at this photo. Meghan isn't even looking at Harry as he talks, and her eyes seem to be dazed somewhere else. Then there's this clip of her tightened jaw as Harry was speaking, because if you are familiar with Harry and Meghan, Meghan always gets visibly annoyed when someone else is talking instead of her, and her jaw kind of tightens as she tries to suppress her true feelings. Like I said, she isn't a great actress. There's a reason why she never really made it in Hollywood. Everything just seemed forced, and the funny part is that it didn't seem like something they wanted to do. Usually there's passion involved in these projects, and by the way Meghan was especially talking, you could tell that she would rather do anything else, such as star in a big motion media picture, but as we know, no one is hiring her. As for Harry, it seems like this was a little reminiscent of his work from his old life before his toxic partner isolated him from everything and everyone he knew, but this just seems like a ploy to distract everyone from their failing marriage and failed ventures. Harry's solo travel to Japan. In my recent video discussing the travesty that is the Sussex marriage, I also talked about how Harry was planning a solo trip to Africa to film a documentary for Netflix. That is apparently one of the many deals up in the air right now for their deal with Netflix, and actually I'm also going to talk about another Netflix project they have coming up in a different video, so be on the lookout for that, you're not going to want to miss it. Now while in Tokyo, Harry said that he would be happy to leave California behind and that he'd even happily live in Japan.
I would happily live here if you'd have me.
At the International Sports Promotion Society Sports Values, he said, "I've been involved in many charities for most of my life, and I get a huge amount of fulfillment, giving back to as many people as possible. My life is charity, always has been and always will be."
Is that so?
That's kind of funny, since nowadays his life is on his family and getting millions of dollars in doing so by allowing his wife, a failed Hollywood actress, to also do the same. So that's gold. I also think it's funny how he said he'd happily live in Japan because through jokes or little sayings here and there, you can almost get an inside look at what's happening behind closed doors. The fact that he said he would happily live in Japan, a place that Meghan has never expressed interest in, gives me the idea that from a psychological point of view, he's telling us that he wants to be far away from Meghan. Now you may think I'm reading too much into it, but to be honest, psychology shows that we often joke about or say things that reveal what we secretly desire, and him not only traveling solo to Japan, but saying he wouldn't even mind living there, opens up that hole about his marriage and how he seems to be running away from it. He also is planning on traveling solo to Africa to film a documentary for Netflix, as we've talked in the past. But in typical Sussex brand damage control, they have to shift the narrative away from the fact that Meghan isn't in Tokyo with him. So what does he and his little friend who was fed scripts on Netflix do? During his short trip to Tokyo, Harry managed to squeeze in some shopping with his friend Nacho Figueres, whom he's known since 2007 and has been on their Netflix soap opera. Nacho captioned an Instagram post of both he and Harry wearing sunglasses saying, "Shopping for our wives." I found it a little odd that Harry was included in this post because it felt like damage control, and if Nachos wasn't spilling pure stupidity on the Netflix soap opera, I wouldn't read too much into it. I'd just be like, "Oh, cute, men shopping for their wives overseas." But because Nachos was also reading from the script Meghan and Harry gave him on Netflix, as I covered in my series on them, it seemed a little fake to me. What do you think? Their desperation continues to deepen as the fake stories broaden, with Meghan apparently at a Taylor Swift concert while Harry is in Tokyo. Meghan at a Taylor Swift concert. Sure. Reports have been running rampant claiming that Meghan was spotted at Taylor's highly successful Eras tour. Well, where is she, you may ask? Oh, she wasn't spotted by anyone in a stadium of 70,000 people like every other celebrity who went to the Eras tour was. I don't think I recall a celebrity being at the Eras show and not being photographed. The only reason we know she was supposedly at this concert was because, a source told Page 6 that Meghan attended with her friend Lucy Fraser. The same place that Meghan and Harry always leak news to, but then complain about the press leaking news. Then it was confirmed and reaffirmed by People magazine. A source confirms to People that Meghan attended Taylor Swift's performance in Los Angeles on August 3rd. During Taylor's Fearless era of the show, Meghan apparently jumped out of her chair to sing along to "You Belong With Me." Would you look at that? All these celebrities were spotted at the Eras tour. And as to how Meghan wasn't, and they had to use random photos of her whether at the Lakers game or from her time in the royal family to run as part of the headline because there isn't a photo of her, is quite interesting. Either none of the 70,000 people recognized her, nor cared enough to take a photo of her, or she wasn't really there. So which one is it? Which makes you ask the question, why lie? Well, the theme of this video is desperation, right? And all of Harry and Meghan's recent desperate attempts. You have one flying solo everywhere without his wife, and another attending Taylor's shows after Taylor famously denied to come on Meghan's flop and cancelled podcast, Archetypes. And as you guys know, Taylor Swift is someone I am quite familiar with and I've talked about on my channel and blog for many years. She's not someone who likes people like Meghan, and Taylor is a shark in the industry and she can spot the likes of Meghan from a mile away, which is probably why she wanted nothing to do with her podcast. Taylor does not like when anyone piggybacks on her fame, and what is it that Meghan does? She piggybacks on everyone else's fame. It's also better to be a friend of Taylor's than an enemy, as we've learned on my channel. And right now, Taylor is the most famous she's ever been, so it's best to be on good terms with her because she has a lot of strings in the industry and a lot of influence, and she also has the patience to get karma for anyone who's ever wronged her. So I'm not shocked that someone like Meghan would want to play second fiddle to someone who's 100 times more famous than her. And I hope Meghan understands how massive Taylor's fame is and doesn't think that her little Duchess of Sussex title can compete with someone of Taylor's status. Whether or not she was at the concert, it definitely seems like Meghan wants to be part of the cool squad in Hollywood, because the cool thing to do nowadays is attend Taylor's Eras Tour and dress up and hang out with a bunch of other celebrities in the VIP box. But it's interesting how Meghan wasn't ever spotted at the concert. Just like that time when she dined with Gwyneth Paltrow, Cameron Diaz, the CEO of Bumble, and so much more, and yet none except Cameron Diaz were spotted. And we wouldn't know of anyone else who attended if it wasn't for those leaking the news to the press. Just like how Page 6 also leaked the news of Meghan celebrating her birthday early by watching the Barbie movie with Portia de Rossi and other irrelevants that she didn't feel the need to name drop. And yet there were no photos of her. All of this is paid PR, guys. It's when a celebrity has their publicist make sure they're always being talked about in the public eye, even for the most irrelevant things. Even if it's not true, they will always run good PR about a celebrity to keep them talked about. And Meghan needed some good PR away from the fact that Harry is in Japan by himself. When they were both part of the royal family, their endeavors were something they did together as a couple. That's the whole point of being married. They flew to different countries together and did different charity events. So it's a big question as to why Meghan isn't there with Harry. And the fact that Meghan was supposedly jumping up and down and singing "You Belong With Me," a love song, despite the fact that no one in the stadium can prove that she was there, tells me that this is another fake PR story because, wow, how shocking that out of all the songs she could be belting out, it's not Taylor's heartbreak songs or revenge ones. Instead, it's one of Taylor's biggest love songs, to prove to us that Meghan is in love with her husband, whom she's never traveling with. And when she is seen with him, their body language tells us all that we need to know, which brings us to the next part of this video. Meghan's birthday. For Meghan's birthday, of course, both she and Harry had to save face, and they were seen celebrating her birthday as they left some trendy restaurant in Montecito. Now let's analyze these photos, shall we? And let's talk about how Harry apparently left separately. First, we have Meghan, of course, first out of the group, where she's already gleaming as she looks at the camera as Harry follows behind her as per usual. She looks cute, she's wearing some random dress and her sandals. But notice how they don't even leave together? It seems like Harry is talking to someone else and he's at the back of the line as Meghan is rushing to the front to get that perfect pap shot. No one is in front of her, it's just her and the paparazzi, just how she likes it. And look at this shot, where Meghan is just smiling as she's approaching the car and Harry just trails behind her, looking rather irritated. Even as they are approaching the car, Meghan looks her usual posh pose and collected as Harry looks glum following behind her. If his face could talk back to us without using the script Meghan feeds it, it would say, "I'm just here for the camera shot so that I can be allowed to go home." And the winning shot of it all, we see Meghan get in the back seat of the car as Harry talks to her through the window, and it gives off the impression that they are leaving separately because we never see Harry get in the car with her as usual, nor does he sit in the front. And no other photos were published, so I guess they were taken but probably not allowed for publication because it would prove the theory that they are living separately, as many sources have said. But like I've been saying, they are desperate to prove otherwise. What do you guys think? And now, let's quickly run through some of the latest royal news concerning the disastrous duo, HRH Removal. Prince Harry's page on the royal family's website has been updated to remove the title His Royal Highness. Until recently, Harry was still being referred to by his HRH title in his bio on the royal family's website. However, the current version of the page does not include any HRH references, instead referring to him as either the Duke or the Duke of Sussex. In June, a section of the site that detailed Harry's work to raise awareness around HIV and AIDS in 2016 previously read, in 2016, His Royal Highness underwent a public HIV test at Guy's and St. Thomas's Hospital. At present, the site reads, in 2016, the Duke underwent a public HIV test at Guy's and St. Thomas's Hospital to raise awareness. Now, titles are something that matter a lot to Meghan and Harry, as we know about their little drama considering the kids' titles and how that went about. Go check out my video on that. But also, during Harry's court trial, he wanted to be referred to as His Royal Highness, a title that the late Queen Elizabeth put on the back burner for both Meghan and Harry as they stepped back from their royal duties. I think this is what they deserve. What do you guys think? Making amends? In the other paid PR being spread by Meghan and Harry's camp, one report claims that, hold your laughter, Harry and Meghan may want to come back to the royal family because all of their attempts have finally run out and no one really wants to associate with them. One story claims that he and Meghan are offering to rent an apartment at Kensington Palace and furnish it themselves. He hopes that will please William and show that they're serious about coming back. Harry doesn't want to become prisoner of the palace.
What?
I don't believe the royal family would take them back in any way, especially after all the bridges they burned. I think that Harry and Meghan are testing the waters by releasing such fake stories to the press to see how this sits with people. This is a tactic used in Hollywood all the time. Publicists will break a story, and if it does well, they will continue the story. And if it doesn't, they will pretend they never ran the story and that the tabloids are lies and full of fakeness. This happens a lot with celebrity breakups. Sometimes they announce two celebrities have broken up, and they take it back if the news didn't sit well with the general public or the fan bases. If you guys want me to do a video explaining paid PR and publicist relationships with the celebrity and the media, let me know. Anyway, let's wrap up this video for now, but be on the lookout for my upcoming videos about Meghan and Harry, especially one that will talk about how low Meghan and Harry will stoop. Because they just bought the book rights to a book that tells a story emulating the death of Princess Diana. Yeah, a car crash and all. It's very messed up stuff. There is also their feud with the Beckhams, which is hilarious and well deserved, so let me know if you guys want a video on the Beckham feud, and what do you think about Harry and Meghan's recent shenanigans? Do you believe that they are also coming off as desperate, and they are actually desperate? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Be sure to follow us on our social media, turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss the live chat, like and subscribe for more, and as always, I'll see you next time.